Okay, hi everyone. This is the Armas, and we're going to try today the trying. We're going, excuse me, we're going to try the Comic Draw app, and I call this video "Trying Comic Draw." I'm very skeptical about this app because everybody on a forum that I usually go to talk about comics and design and drawing and sketching. Well, they're very hype about this app, but to be honest, I think it's about taste. Um, this is supposedly an app complete to do all of the all the things you need to draw a comic, right? You have the tools, you have everything, and it's called Comic Draw, and it's a very good supposedly to be a very good app that lets you work from scratch, right? So, because I am working on a really important comic, I didn't want to risk the quality or everything that I'm doing in my comic. So I will try with a brand new one that even though it's important to me, it doesn't matter if something bad goes because I'm gonna build a comic learning the process of comic draw. So to to let you have an idea, these are my apps, the apps that I use to work with my comics. I use Procreate. This is the tool that I always use. For me, is perfect. So I can use this app to make all of I need in my comic. Um, I use Linea uh, to basically brainstorming the ideas, and everything is self-explanatory in this part. Painstorm is a brand new app that I'm using. It's kind of a Corel Painter, and I'm using it just to see if it will feel my needs about special effects on the comic that I'm drawing. I build my comics with this app, Strip Design. It's a super cool app to build pages, and I recommend it 100%. It's way better uh, than what the guys that create Comic Draw offer with Comic Life or something like that. This Strip Design app is perfect. I mean, is one of those apps you don't know that really exist in the App Store, and when you found it, you start like, oh my God, this is it. These guys nailed it. So basically, this is what is going on. I was searching in my box of different old comics that I drew when I was a teenager, and I found this one. It's in Spanish because that's my main language, but I found this comic very old that I create. Let me see the year. It says 1986. 1986. Um, no, 1982. Oh, the drawing was no. It's a 1992 comics. Uh, it says that this is the idea. Sorry about the messy, but I'm just having keeping this comic because it's have a lot of memories, and I really get better with time drawing, and I really like to see the improvements of myself working and practicing over and over. And in 1992, this is how I picture how to make a comic. And just to let you know, this is the way it looks back then. And this is not the first that I did, but this was the first official comic that I wanted to do. I was willing to pay for a print in a print shop to do this comic and all that. I was very positive about it, but well, life uh, always throw something in the middle of the road, and I didn't finish this dream, so it's just there in my box of memories. But as you can see, is uh, the different is this is what I call an European layout, 8 squares, and it's about a story of these three best friends. Um, uh, to be honest, is the search of honesty, and it's a very raw comedy story. This book is where it going to tell you a lot about every one of the characters. It's those type of comics that you fall in love with the character by itself. You can relate to this one, or you can relate to the other one, or so on. So, as you can see, this is basically these are the character, the main character of this story. One of them have a girlfriend. The other two doesn't have a girl, doesn't have one. And they're practically very unstable in relationship and all that, and suddenly the one that have a girlfriend is victim of these two guys bullying him because they want him to be single as they are, so they can hang out alone as always, that, as they did back in the day. So at least that was what I have in my mind. That's what I write. That's the script I write, and it's kind of a fight between deciding to be responsible and mature, or stay like young and wild, and for this is a battle between those two feelings, and it's a very good comic. So I said, you know what, let me redo this comic from scratch, and let's do it in comic draw. So I started working with this. I made this cover, as you can see. It's all in English now. It's called These Guys. I found this the perfect name for it in English. It's way different as the way I call it in Spanish, but I think this very good name for an English version. And this is the cover that I designed. It's like the three guys looking at the guy that's looking at the comic. Three guys uh, looking at the guy that is going to read the comic, right? And for me, it was kind of funny, so I did it. So this is the process that I've been working on. I show you one of the first. Um, Let me try to open right here to compare both. Let me show you right here. You see that I practically wanted to keep the same essence of the same comic, and this is what I did with the. You can see, for example, the hairstyle of this guy was very common back then in the 90s, and now I just try to make him a little bit more modern, and trying to make, without losing the essence of the character, trying to be more accurate on the date. So I given the different piercings, the haircut different, and just trying to have the same little guy but more up to date. And this is one of the main characters called Skip, and this is how I. Oh, sorry. I'm still learning how to use this app. See what I'm saying? don't know. I don't even know what I did here. So let me see. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to the first page. Thank you. This is the guy. Here we have the two different styles right here. I practically try to be fair with the design of the character that I used to have when I was a kid, younger. I mean, and you can see how badly I just draw uh, um, the cigarette in these hands. Or let me show you if you have an idea. Look, this is how I try to put a cigarette in the hand, and this is how badly I did it. And because back in the day you don't have a computer, if I did it like that, well, it stays like that. And this time I make a brand new kind of steam e-cigarette or vapor machine that I'm been noticing people using these days. So this is not cool no more, and this is the one that people are doing. So that's kind of up to date, and you can see that I changed also the other guy, the guy that have a girlfriend. It's called John. This I I practically I don't. It didn't have any earrings in his ears, and now I put him a couple of earrings because basically these days you have an earring too, and I try to keep this design of the shirt basic more or less the same. I didn't picture the colors back then. I'm just taking advantages of having the to be able to paint them now, and basically, well, the hairstyle is changed, the ears I change it, the sunglasses are changed too, and so on. So now that we have this explained correctly, let's keep going, and let me show you page by page, right? So we have this. Uh, I like the way the layout ended being, and the way this guy still, I think, because I designed them back then that way. I think this time I have like 18 years old when I did the old one, and I'm 43 now, and I think I practically. Oh, there's a tattoo right here, also in his hand. He doesn't have any tattoo, no tattoo here, one tattoo right here. So it was practically very oh, and I didn't remember that I had the fidget cube. You see, it's trying to do try to put everything that today is going on. So, and this area right here is different one panel comics that one page comics that I will be inserting between the whole story. That was the idea back then too, so I have it here, the same ideas. But I didn't start to drawing those. Just I just make them here to see how it would look the page, right? So this is the first page, and this is how the first page how the first page look. finished using comic draw. I made a title. Um, and let's analyze these two now. Okay. Um, you can tell that well, this is where I put my supposedly signature logo here. Now I have a really real logo, so I put the real logo there. Um, the name of the comic is these guys in Spanish. I have another thing there, and I stay with the same title. It says "We're Like Dogs." Where is this? "We're Like Dog" is the same title, right? And this is how practically I ended up being. I wanted like that with a title on top, um, and then I was like start trying to do the same. They're sitting down on a bench, and now I put it. I have with this app, Comic Draw. I have the time to practically add more stuff in every panel. You see, these just three guys are sitting here, uh, just sitting down, and nothing is in the background. I was very concentrated to do this character talking to each other, and I never draw anything else. Just those three guys, and because I was using the same square that I was drawing inside, well, I didn't have the space to put the bubbles and all that. It was kind of very difficult to do it back then. So now I have more stuff. I have ambience. I have something going on in the back. I have space to put the narration box. I have nicely bubbles to write down what they are saying, and they are still sitting down in the bank, and everything looked very well in the picture. Very well done. I practically did the same thing. You see, in this area, you can see that they are laughing, but you just see just the faces here. Uh, Nothing else, because I need space to write down what they were saying. Well, this time I can practically put them together the way I wanted to picture them, like having fun as friends, you know what I mean? And I have enough space to write down here the dialogue bubbles, speech bubbles. So the time passed by when I was 18 years old, 19 or 18, I don't remember the exact age that I have. Now that I'm 43 years old, with all this technology, it helps me to be able to work around to have everything inside of one panel. So it's super cool, and I like the way it's ending that sound to be. Um, so let's keep talking about what's going on. And, so this is the way we're doing the recreation or the redesign or the redo of this comic that I did back in 1992. And I'm in this moment right now. I'm going to do this one. You can see that you have different situations now, and have a car involved and all that, and they driving and they're mad, they fight and all that, and let's see how it goes.